It was 2 years ago tonight that the Deepwater Horizon oil rig blew up in the Gulf of Mexico off Louisiana. 11 workers were killed, and it caused the largest accidental oil spill in history. 200 million gallons of crude gushed out of the BP well before it was capped nearly 3 months later. We were curious about the spill's effects, so we asked Elaine Quijano to look into it.
Troy Frady runs a charter fishing boat off the Alabama Gulf Coast. Since the oil spill, he's been worried about some of the red snapper he's catching.
1 to 2% of the fish had these huge lesions on them and fin rot, and we've never seen that before.
Researchers at the University of Florida are trying to determine what's causing the problem.
You can't spill that much oil into a system without having long-term negative consequences.
David Muth is with the advocacy group, the National Wildlife Federation. He took us to an island where weeks after the spill, pelicans were covered with oil. Muth says oil is suffocating mangroves, holding the soil in place. It was 4 acres before. How big is the island now?
It's less than an acre. 75% loss of the island since the spill.
What do you think this will look like in another 2 years?
Gone.
Completely gone.
Completely gone.
2 years later, the oil is still here in some parts of these marshlands. You can actually see it in places in these tar patches, and in other areas the ground is so saturated you can actually see the oil bubbling up from the ground. Penn State scientists say this dead coral contained the chemical fingerprint of the BP oil. The red you see are starfish. Dolphins also show signs of distress. Last year in Louisiana, federal researchers say 179 dolphins were stranded, nearly 8 times the average. It's not clear whether the oil played a role. BP has spent $14 billion on environmental cleanup, and in a statement today told us there is still work to be done, and any and all conclusions about the health of the Gulf should be based on responsible science. The Food and Drug Administration says it has extensively tested Gulf seafood and it's safe to eat. But fisherman Troy Frady believes the Gulf is still struggling.
It's going to take many years of restoration in the Gulf of Mexico to get it back to where it's healthy.
BP says it's committed to the largest and most complex study of the Gulf ever done. It's a study with high stakes for all involved. Elaine Quijano, CBS News, Barataria Bay, Louisiana.